Hi, thanks for checking in. I'm Jarrell from Sungrand, developer of the Silver Falls games. Today, I wanted to discuss the recent patents that have been shared online regarding a potential follow-up to the Nintendo Switch. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to call it a codename. So, just as a preface, I create games for Nintendo consoles, but I do not have any insider information on the upcoming next Nintendo hardware. I don't actually know anything. As a game developer, I am speculating. I haven't been contacted by Nintendo regarding the hardware, so today I'll be making some guesses, and I wanted to share with you potential game concepts. I thought it'd be a great exercise to create a new game, trying to use all the features of these new patent leaks, I suppose you can call them. So, to help demonstrate my point here, what I'm going to do is use my Nintendo 3DS with a special gimmick. It's got a screen on the back. So, if you'd like to see the patent documents, I'll link to the Mad Little Pixel video, who's a great YouTuber, and he's shared the documents where you can see all the details regarding this patent for a potential new Nintendo console. So again, I'm just guessing. I'm going to be creating a console based on the design that we see in the patents. So in the patents that we see, we have a dual screen device, and it appears to have, again, a bottom screen which is a smaller width than the top screen. When the device is supposedly closed or reconfigured, there's a screen on the front, but there are two sets of shoulder buttons. So you have the shoulder buttons here, but then the screen itself has its own shoulder buttons. This is presumably so these screens can be detached. Now, what I'm going to suppose will be the case is there will be multiple configurations for gameplay. So I will refer to this mode as dual mode, where you are using the bottom and top screen. So this will be dual handheld. I'm going to consider this closed mode the rear screen. So we'll call that the rear screen. We'll call that single handheld mode. This is single handheld. We also need to consider that there is going to be docked play, because it wouldn't be a home console unless you could connect that to the TV. So I'm going to refer to that as TV play, but there has to be a way to connect those. So what I believe will be the case is that the top screen will detach from this new console, which I'm going to call the, let's call it the, how about the Snap, the Nintendo Snap, because it snaps together. How about that? Came up with that on the spot. So for the purposes of this video, we'll call it the Nintendo Snap. So the screen snaps off. We are going to sit that into the dock for the TV, and now you have TV and you have your remote play. So you'll have dual TV mode, where you're playing on your unit now, and the top screen has been removed, connected to the TV. So my first game concept with that, I want to use the features of having the main gameplay on these screens, but an alternative mode of gameplay when you close it and you have access to the touchscreen. So what it the most expected and I suppose traditional would for gameplay to be on the top screen, which is wider. You get your full 16:9 aspect ratio. You have your bottom screen, which has just a more narrow aspect ratio to accommodate the buttons. So that's what we see on the patent. I was hoping that these screens would be the same width, but according to the patents, that's not what we see. So we will relegate our touch screen and our menus, our heads-up display, inventory and map. We'll keep that on the bottom screen. So for this first concept, I haven't come up with a name with it yet. We'll just call it an RPG for now. This is an RPG that takes place in two worlds simultaneously. You have the surface world that takes place on a planet, we'll call it Neo Terra, okay? So this game takes place on Neo Terra, and you have your traditional RPG. It's a JRPG. You collect party members, you explore the world. But as you are exploring, there is a world that everything that occurs on the ground in Neoterra also occurs in Celestia, a world in the sky, a world in the clouds. And the way that you access Celestia is you're playing the game like this. You're playing, okay, oh great, yeah, I'm stuck. I'm in a dungeon, I'm not sure how to solve this puzzle. You close the screen, and suddenly you see your party members in Celestia. You have a totally different party, totally different environment, but every single part of the Neoterra world that occurs on the ground, every single thing that you do and in the environment correlates to the world that's in the sky. So you have totally different party members, but every single thing you do correlates there. And the way that you solve certain puzzles is you have to open and close the lid. So you're playing on the ground, you're stuck in a dungeon, you're not sure what to do. You close that, you now have access to your party in the clouds, in the sky. And because there are no buttons, according to the patents, we don't actually know what this console will be. But according to the patents, there are no buttons on the rear screen, so I'm going to consider this a touch screen. So then you will play the gameplay using the single mode, using the touch screen. You navigate with your party, and lo and behold, you're able to perform actions, and you're able to navigate the world of Celestia, you know, your party that's in the sky, and you're able to solve puzzles there. What if you come across an enemy in Celestia using the single play, using the rear touchscreen, and you think, this enemy is kicking my butt, I don't have what I need in order to defeat this enemy because he's too strong, you don't have his elemental weakness, or he needs a strategy that you can't employ, you don't have access to it with your party members that are in the sky. Well, you open up your Nintendo Snap, and you now again have access to your party on Neoterra, and they're fighting their own boss at the exact same time, and they're able to defeat that boss. So the appeal of this is that you're actually sort of switching the way that you play the games. The way that you interact with the world is totally different, and that makes it interesting. And you'd think, how would you translate that to playing on the TV? Well, this is the Nintendo Snap, right? So you go ahead and you disconnect the top screen, it snaps apart. This is starting to feel like I'm feeling really weird pantomiming snapping my 3DS in half. So the top screen snaps off, you sit it in the dock, and then you're able to play that on TV. So now the TV has your Celestia party, and your remote controller has your Terra party, or maybe vice versa, one or the other, you know. So that is one potential game concept using the unique features that we see in those patent documents for a new potential Nintendo console. I'll just go ahead and quickly fire off another potential idea. I had written down and sort of tried to come up with an idea that could use it in a bit more sort of explorative way. So using the Snap, we have an open world exploration game, and we'll just call this something like Kaiju Riders, right? And you play as a character in a world where people live side by side with giant kaiju. They can tame kaiju, and then they ride them to explore the world. So you tame these giant beasts, you are able to explore massive environments by riding your kaiju, but something's happened in this kaiju world. Kaiju have started dying left and right, their life force is being sucked out of them, and you are not sure why. So as you're exploring the world in this massive open world exploration game, you're riding your kaiju, you're catching new kaiju, and you're training them and you're feeding them so that they mutate and transform into stronger beasts. All of a sudden they start getting killed. So your character obtains something called the S-Visor, and the S-Visor allows them to see horrible creatures that are called spectrals, and spectrals are invisible to normal people. So you can't see a spectral, it's a beast, and the spectral absorbs the life energy of the kaiju. Now it's your job to protect your kaiju. So how do you equip your S-Visor, and how do you use it? Well, you're playing gameplay like this, you close the lid, you have access to the rear screen, and that allows you to equip your S-Visor, and suddenly your view of the world has changed, and you're wearing your S-Visor, and now you can see spectrals. And you can see where they are, and this, you can use the touchscreen on the rear screen, and by using the touchscreen, you can actually directly direct your kaiju to use powerful energy attacks. When you are using dual play, you are controlling your human character directly. It's an open world exploration. When you close the lid and you equip your S-Visor, you use the touchscreen, and that actually allows you to direct your kaiju as if you're pointing to your kaiju, and you can aim powerful energy blasts, you can do swipes and make your kaiju do big attacks, and that allows you to fight the spectrals so that the spectrals don't kill your kaiju. You can also use your S-Visor to emit seismic blasts, and you can detect treasure underground. How about your S-Visor lets you see treasure underground? So you don't just need the S-Visor for enemies, and maybe there's paths underground, there's ancient ruins that you can find by using these sonar blasts. Tap, tap, tap. You can find new places to explore, you can find treasure, and when you need to resume control of your human character or player character, you open the lid, you resume dual play, and you can continue playing in the traditional manner. You can play this mode on the TV as well. I think you will snap that top screen off on your Nintendo Snap. You'll put that on the dock to the TV, and now your exploration gameplay is now on the TV. And when you need to use the S-Visor, well, how do you do that? How do you equip the S-Visor if the top screen is on the TV? You hold up your controller, and by holding up the controller like this, it detects the motion and the orientation, and by holding it up, you can actually use the S-Visor like this through motion controls, and that allows you to search around. You can see where the spectrals are, and you can use the touch screen to again direct your kaiju, and that game would be Kaiju Rider. So I hope you've enjoyed hearing those concepts, and again, I don't actually know what Nintendo's new console is going to be. I've got no inside information. I'm just guessing. This has been an exercise as a game developer on how I would use the features of the Nintendo Snap, the potential upcoming Nintendo console, according to those patent documents. I personally think that it would be difficult for developers to make the most of a concept like that, because I think it takes the idea of the Wii U and the 3DS and it does even more, and it has that rear screen. I think that's going to be very difficult for developers to understand. So if this is the new console, if this Nintendo Snap is the new console that we get, I would push very hard to get some interesting creative concepts out that fully show the potential of what this hardware can do creatively, in order to show developers, hey, this is what you can do. This is something interesting you can do. I would push very hard to support independent developers and smaller studios, because the AAA studios, we know they have a track record. We understand where the AAA industry is right now. They are risk averse. They follow trends. AAA studios will not risk their resources and their time developing for a unique console like that. So we need to rely on smaller independent studios who can take creative risks. They can work in an environment where they're able to follow a more creative direction without a committee, without investors shooting down their ideas, saying we can't afford to take that risk, just do what's popular right now. So if the Nintendo Snap is the new console, this is going to be the greatest platform for smaller independent developers and studios. So I'm very much looking forward to that. I hope you enjoyed sharing those ideas. Have you got your own ideas for creating games for the Nintendo Snap? Don't put them in the comments, because someone might steal your ideas. Just wait for the Snap to be announced and create those games yourself. You take care of yourselves, everyone. I will be going back to the studio and finishing up my next few games to be releasing on the Nintendo Switch. Take care of yourselves, everyone, and look forward to the Snap.